I'm Jennifer Snazzy. You're watching News 24 Live. Musician Chad Saaiman is joining me, and he's just come in from a hectic time in Joburg, hey?
Yeah, I just got in.
And you came in on crutches.
I did, yeah. I ruptured my ligaments doing boy things, and I have a bit of an injury for the next few weeks, but it's all good.
How are you going to perform with crutches?
I've been performing with a stool on stage for the most
Okay.
part, but since this week I've been able to actually put my foot down, so I'll be okay. I just won't be jumping around too much like I usually do.
Oh.
So hopefully the songs are good enough.
Yeah, they will be, I'm sure. We don't want you to injure yourself anymore.
Yeah, no, it should be fine.
Now, we want to talk about your latest album,
Yeah.
Cinema.
Yeah.
It's just come out. What kind of response have you been getting?
It's been good. I think even though it's my third album, it feels like my first album simply
Why?
because so much has happened in that period between album 2 and 3. You know, there's been a lot of growth for me as a man, as an artist, as a songwriter, and a lot of life-changing things have occurred in the spaces, and you put it into your music, you know. So it's a special album. People like it. I think there's a song for everybody. Moves between pop and R&B, and R&B and pop, and the other way it just keeps moving, which is kind of interesting because you can't always put your finger on what the whole project sounds like. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm a songwriter and just try and focus on writing good songs.
Now, what's your favorite song on the album?
It's a song called "Don't Let Go." Yeah, it's called "Don't Let Go." It's a song that I co-wrote with another artist called Mario Ogle, and yeah, it's one of my favorites. Just a special song, eh? You need to hear it for yourself for me to get into exactly what it's about. But yeah, metaphorically, it's also one of my favorites because it uses space and just, you know, the orbit and just movement and yeah.
Sounds deep.
Yeah, it's very deep. You might drown actually if you're not ready for it. So yeah.
Now, you said that making your third album felt like you were making your first album. I know a lot of the artists I speak to, each album brings up new emotions for them, new things in different parts of their life. What was the defining moment when you were making this album for you?
I think it kind of happened halfway through when you really start honing in on that body of work. I started the album with 2 singles before I even knew that this was going to be an album, you know, so the singles went out, the response was good. We got into making the album, and when it was winter last year, I remember in Johannesburg, where I really got to focus on just recording and finishing the writing for the album. And with busy schedules and performances, it's not easy to write an entire album, so it always happens in drips and drabs, and you know, that's kind of what happened. And winter 2014, I think that's where everything came together for me.
Wow. Now you're based in Joburg, hey?
Yep.
Do you love coming to Cape Town?
I do. Cape Town is, it's where I'm from, and I always see it as coming home, even though I have a home there as well. Spend a lot of time between both cities. They're very different. I think it's exciting as an artist to be able to, you know, absorb Joburg's energy as well as Cape Town's, because the cities are so different.
Yeah.
You know, Joburg is very, it's more of a city, less scenery and pretty things like, you know, the famous mountain and beaches. But there's an energy amongst the people that's very different to Cape Town, you know. And I think once you work with different producers in both cities, you'll feel the sounds are different as well. And that's something I kind of paid attention to on the album.
Now, I'm going to put you on the spot. Which city do you like more?
I'm going to say PE if you're going to ask me that question, because you can't make me choose between. Because if I say Cape Town, all my Joburg people are like, oh, Chad, come on. If I say Joburg, all my Cape Town people, he's forgotten about his roots. You
So
can't please
PE it
anyone.
is.
I'll just go with South Africa. I just feel like, you know, we live in such a great country, and it's such a great time for music, and there's just so much good music coming out of South Africa now, where I remember 5, 6, 7 years ago, when I dropped my first singles, it was a case of people always having this saying, I don't know if you've heard it, it's called local is lekker, which means that
Yep,
local
I've
is
heard it.
like nice. I personally dislike that saying.
Why?
I don't know, I just feel like we should support local more, but I don't think on a level of quality and what South African artists are putting out there, I don't think that it needs to be separated from international, because it's either a song is good or not. That's how I see it. And I feel like South Africans are making really good music at the moment, where nothing, you know, there are unique sounds coming from the country, but it's not a case of, oh, that doesn't sound as good, it must be South African. That doesn't happen anymore, you know.
No.
So, but I still feel like, you know, radio can play some more South African music, because I think we're one of the countries who send out the most amount of royalties to other countries abroad for songwriters and composers, where we have a wealth of talent over here. So, you know, we're always trying to push the boundaries with that.
You know, you're not the first artist who said that radio could play more South African music, and that South African music right now, I mean, we can all hear it. It's definitely on par with what's going on in the international scene, if not better.
I mean, I think that it's something that always needs to be brought up, because, you know, there are quotas that were spoken about with the government and the radio stations, where they are supposed to be playing 80%, which is a lot. I didn't know it was that high. I read about it last week, and they aren't playing that. So it's a case of just the organizations and artists kind of coming together to push it a bit more. You know, there's valid arguments from both sides. But yeah, you know, we just try and make the best music possible, and just try and also influence other artists that are coming through to do the same thing.
Yeah. Now, what South African artists are you listening to right now?
At the moment, that's a very good question. At the moment, the person I listen to the most is actually, I would say, Jimmy Nevis.
Really?
Yeah, no, we do know each other and we do speak quite often, but it's weird though, as in terms of his latest album, The Masses, as a body of work, I feel like when I listen to it, I'm not listening to a friend's album, I'm just listening to a really good album. Yeah, that's probably the one that gets the most plays. I listen to a bit of Kelly Khumalo as well. And I've gotten some new South African dance music.
I love Jimmy Nevis. He's always smiling.
Yeah,
he never stops smiling.
Yeah. Maybe when you're around.
Maybe only when I'm around. I never
when
see him
you're
not
around,
smiling.
I think we all stop smiling at some point. But yeah. Don't get into that.
No, I won't.